I don't know why I'm laughing. I don't know why I'm laughing. Hi, everybody. How's it going? What you been up to? Me? Oh, I've just been looking at some Apple News, trying to figure out what we're talking about today and doing some other stuff, making a grocery list. Not unlike Santa Claus, I do check my grocery list twice, but I haven't yet. In fact, I haven't even finished the list. So, that's how my day's going. What about you? Sorry, I got something on my face on the screen. John McKee. Man with the roll call. Let's see who's here. Hank, John, of course, because he's doing the roll call. Webb, Brian, Adam, Chuck, Donna, Bill, Rick, other Brian, or Brian Prime. I don't know which one's the other Brian. Gary and Paul. Lined up and ready to go. Milk is on the list, Bill, and I've already started recording. So let's go ahead and get underway. Wow, I'm loving that. I'm loving that. All right, let's go ahead and get underway. I got one more thing to check, and that looks good. So let us begin, shall we? Targeting a new retail experience, and Facebook really wants to follow you. It is Thursday, the 25th of February, 2021, and this is macOS Can Live. When I laugh like that and when I'm saying the date, it's because I'm this close to saying something ridiculous. Like I nearly made it 2023 today. And wouldn't that be neat? Hi, everybody. It's Ken Ray welcoming you to another edition of macOS Ken Live. Thanking you as well for joining me for this edition of macOS Ken Live. Surprise, last one of these for this week. There is a macOS Ken tomorrow, but there is no macOS Ken Live tomorrow. So if this is a daily part of your Monday through Friday, 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern, please make other plans because we're not doing this tomorrow. But I'll remind you again in the middle of the show. First, we have a first part of the show, but before we even do the first part of the show, I want to tell you about the second part of the show. Facebook is once again making its case to Facebook users why it should be allowed to follow them, why it should be allowed to track them all over the place. And it will shock you to find that their case is just a tiny bit disingenuous. So we'll talk about that in the second part of the show. First part of the show, though, this is one of those things that I don't know if it's a better thing for Apple or for the people with whom Apple is partnering, or if you could even say Apple is partnering with anybody, whatever. CNBC ran a piece earlier today that said that Target is going to open up little Apple shops inside Target stores. Now, this is a thing that Target's been doing forever. I want to say, was this a thing that Ron Johnson actually did when he was at Target? Because I know Ron Johnson has not been with Apple for quite a while. Well, we'll come to that. Here's what CNBC said. The retailer, of course, there are two in this story, but we're talking about Target. The retailer said Thursday that the shops will open in 17 Target stores, little Apple shops inside Target stores this month, and it plans to expand to more locations this fall. They already sell Apple stuff, of course, but these shops will double the tech company's footprint inside of each store, so at least twice as much floor space. Although they really don't have that much floor space at the Target that I go to occasionally. The stuff's there, but it's not, in one place. Anyway, it's also going to include more accessories and have staff, with specialized training from Apple. The brand's products have a new look on Target's website as well, which, they do. It's not quite, it doesn't look like an Apple site. It looks like an Apple site from a few years ago, maybe. But if you go to Target and look for all the Apple stuff, definitely has its own feel on the Target site. Target Chief Growth Officer Christina Hennington said the dedicated area will catch customers' eyes and make its sales floor more experiential. It'll also have videos and displays that are more engaging, she said. It's going to have low tables, kind of like they do at Apple stores, where you can actually, get touchy-feely with the stuff, which I think could actually be a big deal. But we'll get to that in a minute. In a statement, Apple practically didn't want to say anything. Apple said the company looks forward to continuing to work with Target on exciting new ways to serve customers in-store and online. That's just a statement from Apple. No name. It's not Tim Cook. It's not Jeff Williams. It's not Deirdre O'Brien. It's not anybody. It's fine because they probably don't want to. Well, again, we'll get to that in a moment. Or I don't know. It's kind of weird that they wouldn't say anything unless they're really trying to not make a big deal about it. I mean, it's only 17 stores. They're going to see how it goes. Probably it's going to be a lot more stores than that because probably if they've already gotten to this point, they're thinking it's a thing it's going to roll. It's still kind of weird though that there's no name tied to the Apple side of it, but that's fine. For some consumers, CNBC continues, a stop at Target stores has taken the place of hours-long shopping trips to multiple retailers during the pandemic. It's because they sell everything. They got to keep their essential retailer status because, of course, they put grocery stores in most of the Targets, like, kind of full-fledged grocery stores. For me personally, I think their selection is kind of crap if you're really trying to, like go grocery shopping. But, back in my bachelor days, maybe. Or if, I just wanted to go one place for 8 different things, some of them being food, some of them being other stuff, it might be fine. They've actually kind of gone gangbusters as a result of the pandemic, of course. Target shares are up about 64% over the past year, according to this. $6 billion in market share gains as of the end of the third quarter, the company said, citing third-party and internal research. What's weird is they actually throw out some numbers about last quarter as far as how electronics did. I think they said that electronics were up 20% year over year in the December quarter, and yet they don't report quarterly earnings until next week. How do we know that? I don't know how we know that, but they say that we know that. Now, this isn't the first time that Target has done this. There's a mention of they tried this like a decade ago, it says, but that was not quite as nearly a decade ago. The retailer tested a concept to showcase Apple in some stores with more prominent display, but the company said this new effort is a separate strategy and goes much further than swapping out signage. That sounds like they're bashing what they did before, but whatever. They've done this with Disney. They've done this with Levi's. They're going to open hundreds of scaled down Ulta beauty shops later this year with curated products and trained makeup and skincare professionals. Man, that's a tough job right now, huh? Hey, let me just get near your face. No, thank you. I appreciate that. With its latest shop in shop, Target will feature Apple, a brand that's a draw for shoppers and a common hangout shop at malls. It'll resemble the tech company stores with new lighting and lowered tables, as I mentioned before, where customers can try out the Apple products. So there were a few things I thought about this. I mean, first of all, it's similar to what Best Buy has been doing for years now. Best Buy has, and Best Buy did this with other retailers as well. They tried the shop within a shop thing because, they kind of cratered around 2008, 2009. Maybe it was a little bit later than that. The last time I went to a Best Buy, which I will, fully confess was, I think 5 years ago, maybe was the last time I was in a Best Buy because I was looking for that TV that's sitting right over there and it's still great. So I don't need to go back to a Best Buy anytime soon. The amount of floor space is kind of stunning, like how much empty space there is because it used to just be jam full with bookshelves for movie tie-ins and then all kinds of DVDs that apparently nobody's buying anymore. So, they're kind of done with that. But they do have that dedicated Apple section. And they do have trained people there, people who are trained by Apple as far as how they do their sales stuff. They don't have a Genius Bar, but I do know that over the past year or two, most Best Buy stores, if not all Best Buy stores, became Apple authorized service providers. Target's not going to be that. Apparently, what they're training the people at Target to do is maybe tell you, how to sell and which products would go well with other products. They're not going to be a troubleshooting place. Now, I mentioned those tables earlier. It could be good for the hands-on problem that I perceive Apple as having at this point. Since a lot of times you can't really, just walk into an Apple store and do stuff now. You have to make appointments. And I understand, they're sanitizing everything. They're making those appointments so you can do one-on-one shopping and stuff like that. But It's not the casual just, go hang out at the Apple Store for 20 minutes. I personally don't see Target as a place that anybody's gonna go just casually hang out. Gone, I hope, are the days where people would stop by the Apple Store and check their email, and if you do that at Target, it feels to me like you're just opening yourself up to a ton of security issues, but that's another thing for another thing. I found myself wondering, whether there would be any flexibility in pricing as far as the Target thing is concerned. Probably not, although it would be kind of interesting. I think about the stuff that happens at Christmas. Years ago, people used to say, "Wow, Target's got the iPad at $250." At Christmas time too, when people are gonna be buying the iPad, it must not be doing well. The iPad must be doing terribly. And my argument was, and I think this was borne out eventually, they charge $250 for an iPad at Christmas time because they know that once you come in the door to buy that iPad, you're getting the stocking stuffers, you're getting, slippers, you're getting those family pajamas that some families seem to like to wear one day of the year. You're getting all kinds of stuff. And of course, now they got the food thing too. I mean, you're picking up just more and more stuff there. So the $250 iPad or $350 iPad was a loss leader. I mean, that's what that was. I don't think that they could do that necessarily with the Apple thing, but if they are given any room to offer pricing flexibility, or they could just do the $100 gift card thing that they do from time to time. I think they started doing that instead of dropping the price a lot of times at the holidays on higher end stuff. They would say, "Come here and buy this thing and also get a $100 gift card or a $50 gift card or whatever." So it could be a nice little, what's the word I'm looking for? Synergistic cycle something, you know, words to that effect. They're also really excited about, the technology play because technology has played a central role this year in keeping people safe and entertained. That's a tough line to walk, isn't it? On the one hand, you wanna be like, "Yeah, come here for your technology stuff so you don't have to go anywhere." On the other hand, you wanna try to get people to come back out. I did find myself wondering as I was reading this article, do you miss going to 5 different stores? Right? Do you miss going to the places that you used to go? I mean, because we don't wanna get sick, because we don't wanna, catch the dreaded, coronavirus, we're not going as many places as we went before. Then again, you may be somebody who was already shopping online all the time, and this isn't gonna do anything for you. It's an interesting tie-up. And I also just can't help, thinking about the virtuous cycle that is Ron Johnson's, trek through retail. He used to be the head of, something for Target. He was responsible in a lot of people's minds for really revitalizing them as a retail destination, and then, of course, he quit working for Target to go work for, Apple, and now Apple's going into Target. Oh, and we'll leave off his time at, JCPenney, which I'm sure he would appreciate. So we'll talk in a moment about, what's going on with Facebook. Something's going on with my video again. I don't know what's happening here, so if it's looking really laggy and weird, I do apologize, and if it's not, nothing's going on with my video. What are you talking about? Normally, this is the part where I say, "Hey, there's a thing tomorrow." I'll just use this time to remind you there's no macOS Can Live tomorrow, so something's come up. It's all fine. It's all good. It's actually great, but it just means no show here tomorrow, so come back Monday. We'll do 2 shows. We're not doing 2 shows. So let's talk about Facebook really quickly. Oh, darn it. I forgot to tell you where the 17 stores are, by the way. Forgive me. I'm going to jump back to the Target thing really quickly. Listen for your town and see if you can visit one of these things when they open later this month. Monticello, Minnesota, San Jose, California, Oklahoma City, which they're keeping in Oklahoma these days, Allen, Texas, Hurst, Texas, Austin, Texas, Irving, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, Gainesville, Orlando, Clearwater, and Miami in Florida, North Wales in Pennsylvania, Newark, Delaware, Woburn, Massachusetts, Nashua, New Hampshire, and Latham, New York. So stop by and see how easy stuff is to boost. I mean, check out. What did I say? See, I was thinking about maybe we don't wanna talk about Facebook. We just keep talking about the Target thing. I was thinking about when I go to the Apple locations and a Best Buy, and I'll grant you again, it's been a very long time, but it's sometimes difficult to get help there when you need help there. I think part of the thing about clearing out all of the inventory, they also cleared out a lot of their staff. And so when I go to the Apple store, not the Apple store, when I go to Best Buy, a lot of times it's hard to find somebody. First of all, it's just hard to find somebody, and then it's hard to find the right person to talk to. Now, I don't know if that's different with the dedicated Apple space because I haven't been to one of those in forever. Um, I do know at the Target near me, there's always somebody in the electronics area. I assume it's because they don't want people boosting stuff, by which I mean stealing, by which I mean applying the five-finger discount, by which I mean, putting it in their bag and walking out the door. Maybe that's a better thing. I don't know. Leaving a Best Buy is always a bit like leaving a prison. Not that I've left a prison, not that I'm in a prison, maybe one of the mind, but you get the idea. Leaving a Best Buy is a bit like leaving a prison. Same like leaving Walmart. They make you show your receipt and then they check your bag, and it's like it makes you not want to shop there. Not because I mean, I'm all about loss prevention, but do I look like I might look like somebody who's going to steal. I don't know, but it feels bad. Anyway, all right, fine. We'll move on now to the Facebook thing. So, Facebook has a new PR campaign promoting personalized advertising ahead of Apple's app tracking transparency launch. That is the way Mac Rumors puts it. Apple Insider was much less kind. Apple Insider, I think, only ran this story as an opinion piece. And the opinion was that Facebook can go take a long walk off a short pier. Mac Rumor says Facebook is launching a new PR campaign that highlights how small businesses rely on personalized advertising to help their businesses grow from an idea into a livelihood. The new campaign indirectly takes aim at app tracking transparency, an upcoming iOS 14 feature that will require apps to ask for a user's permission to opt into tracking for personalized advertising. We could probably go ahead and stop this right here because we've talked about this before. I don't know if Nabil is here today, but Nabil is a regular listener to macOS Can Live, and he wrote into me a few weeks ago talking about what an amazingly good job Facebook advertising did, the targeted advertising did for his business. He also said, as much as he doesn't want it to go away, he feels like it needs to go away because it was really far too good at tracking people. It was far too good at getting to exactly who it needed to get to. And while that is good for him as a business person, he does not feel that that is good for him as a consumer, because if they're tracking his users, they're tracking him too. I watched their video. It's you don't even really know what the heck you're watching. It's 1 minute long. It's like a music video. Guys are singing about something, about how good ideas deserve to be found, or good ideas. Yeah, good ideas deserve to be found, says Facebook. Good ideas deserve to be found, says Facebook. So let us follow you so we can give you some good ideas, which, as one commenter on Mac Rumors pointed out, is usually something that you were looking at anyway. There was one guy who was like, I don't really get the whole personalized advertising thing because it seems to me the personalized ads I always get are things that I was either looking at and went ahead and bought, or things I was looking at and decided not to buy, or stuff that I was looking at for somebody else that I don't even care about anymore. And they call that advertising. It's kind of funny because like eBay has been suggesting to me that I make an offer on the $1.5 million Apple One computer pretty much since I brought that story to macOS Ken, because I made the mistake of looking at it once. But we've talked about this before. Amazon, on the other hand, keeps trying to sell me another office chair, just like the one I'm sitting in right now, which I bought from Amazon, which is how they know that I was kind of interested in it. Maybe Facebook is better at this stuff. I don't know. The problem that I come back to again and again and again with Facebook is how incredibly disingenuous they are. Everything on the full page, because I didn't just watch the video. I read their full page pitch to people, because at the end of the video, it's got a for more information, go here. And everything is about right now. Everything is about the next 5 minutes. Everything is about you need to go ahead and opt into the tracking, which they don't call it tracking, they call it personalized advertising or whatever. You need to go ahead and opt into the tracking because hashtag, these times in which we live, hashtag COVID-19, hashtag small businesses going under. So you need to let us follow you. See, they're not saying that part though. They're not saying the part of you need to let us track your information. Because while I appreciate the fact that they're saying, yes, over the next few months, things are going to continue to be difficult for small businesses, they're not saying, so we're only going to track you for the next few months. They're not saying anything about all of the information that they're collecting. And I got to say, I don't normally read the comments on other people's stuff. I say I read the comments on the videos that I do, and I do. Generally speaking, I don't read the comments because it doesn't take long for it to devolve into you suck, no, you suck, right? As far as the comments are concerned. But there was a fantastic comment on Mac Rumors. As Facebook launches this thing that says good ideas deserve to be found, the comment was, so pay us or we're going to take your ideas and hide them from everybody in the timeline. I wonder sometimes if it's the way that people use social media. I still have a Facebook account. I don't go there for anything except for two different people who will occasionally post something and I'm worried about them. And I'm still probably going to write to them and say, just call me because I'm done, because I think the whole thing is kind of terrible. It was never a fire hose for me. It was always a relatively small number of people that I had on Facebook. I am following 330 something people on Twitter. I don't use it as a fire hose, nor do I use the Twitter client because Twitter and Facebook both seem to decide, I know he thinks he knows who he wants to hear from, but we think he needs to hear from these people too, or we think he would want to hear from these people too. So tell you what we're going to do. Screw the list that he made. We're not going to show him those people. We're going to show him these people that we think are more important or more interesting, or, maybe we can make a buck off of. And I'm not saying, if we all used Facebook and Twitter less like a fire hose and more like a trickle, they wouldn't do this. I'm saying maybe the reason I get so frustrated is because I try to curate my lists pretty carefully and then, end up hearing from people I don't, care about or want to hear about anyway. That's why I use Tweetbot, because it doesn't shift around my timeline. And then I can get frustrated on my own terms. Here's the other thing too. I follow the people I follow hoping to gain ideas, right? If good ideas deserve to be found, probably my friends are going to share them with me, which is what I showed up for in the first place. But it didn't cost me anything, so obviously I'm not the customer. Not complaining, by the way, just saying. So I guess that's going to do it for us today, and that's going to do it for macOS Ken Live this week. If you're here in the chat room, please stay in the chat room. I will be by there momentarily. If you're not in the chat room, on a normal Monday through Friday, we're here from 3:30 to, show usually runs about 20, 25 minutes. And then after that, we sit and chat in the chat room for a bit, and then we go our merry ways. So yeah, stop by next week, 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern, other times, other places for macOS Ken Live. Of course, macOS Ken also goes again tomorrow morning, and I will talk to you soon. It's feedback. That's what's missing. It's feedback. Because it kind of feels like sometimes when I'm doing this show, it's like we're going, and I just slam on the brake and we're done. And I realize it's the feedback thing. Because if I look over there at my little, I look at the little clock on the clock, right? There's a section right there for feedback. But Soul's feedback, we just stop. Matthew thinks I should do the Dennis Miller thing. I don't want to go off on a rant here. I don't think I'm going to do that. He might be litigious. Da, da, da. Why does Webb feel cheated? Webb, why do you feel cheated? Did I miss your name? I said your name. Why do you feel cheated, Webb? Yeah, honestly, John, I would encourage you to, have a at least have a second screen up. If there's a rocket launch, because dude, I'll be here. Rockets won't. That's the whole point. Uh, like how Best Buy is set up, says Brian. Yeah, there we go. Wow. Dow says that Best Buy has officially gotten rid of all the CDs outside the bargain bin. That happened when Dow was still working there. Yeah, it's not surprising. And yet, is it still true that Walmart, this can't still be true, that Walmart is still the number one music retailer in the country, if not the world? That can't still be true, can it? I don't know. I've been digital music for, well, you guys know, 15 years, 16 years, 17. See, Brian was right behind me. Or they provide a Target gift card, which always has a level of breakage. Level of breakage? You mean people might not use them? Like the Cabela's gift cards that I have downstairs. I got a Cabela's gift card for Christmas. I don't know where there is a Cabela's. And, living now in Southern California, I don't know what I need from Cabela's. But I'll find out. Well, I say I'll find out, but I've had it for 2 months now, so maybe I won't. Roger only buys CDs and the occasional vinyl. Roger also misses going to the bookstore. My special lady friend and I were talking about that the other day. That was one of our date nights. We just go and, browse books and buy a coffee and sit there and look at our books. Occasionally buy one, more often than not, just spend the time together. And it's really hard to imagine just hanging out any place right now. Dow misses Borders. Yeah, I miss Borders too. Barnes & Noble is fine. I miss Borders. Roger says Ron Johnson was doing great things at J.C. Penney. He probably should have eased people into it more. I don't disagree with you, Roger. But he like really upended the cart, right? And then told people, no, honestly, it's going to be better. And if you're dealing with people for whom JCPenney was a regular destination, if you change the way, they regularly do things that quickly, that can be tough. Matthew says he liked Borders, but a lot of people used it as a library and never bought the magazines they would read or the books. And I feel kind of guilty now after what I just said. We were always open to buying books. We just mostly didn't. Interesting. Brian says Target gives 5% off with Red Card. Got his Apple Watch there a couple of years ago. Good savings. See, it's an interesting thing. I mean, there are always going to be people who will always just think of going to the Apple store because they just always think of going to the Apple store. This iPad that I'm using right here, which is the 7th generation, just the regular one that starts at like $329, I think. I got it at Target, but it's the higher capacity one because they had them for $100 off going into the holidays of 2019. They play with prices in ways that Apple won't, because Apple, I guess, doesn't want to lose that Apple never wants to look like a bargain basement. That's what made hiring John Browett such a weird thing. John Browett was the guy from Curry's and PC World. I sound like a guy wandering down the street just talking to himself. And that's why they hired John Browett. Now they shouldn't have done that because that was terrible. Sometimes. Oh, John, too soon. John says, "You think getting help at Best Buy is bad? Try getting help at Fry's." Man, what's going to happen to all those really cool stores? What's going to happen to the Mars Attacks store and the one that looks like a Mayan temple? What's going to happen to all those? Somebody needs to buy them and turn them into something. Here's an idea, like a rainforest cafe. What if instead of a rainforest cafe, you make it a Fry's cafe, and they could sell lots of fried things, but then just keep the setting, keep the whole setting thing, and maybe throw in a couple of robots. It's a bad idea, but it's not a bad idea. John says maybe we would like personalized ads if we could personalize them ourselves. Yeah, aren't we just doing that? By going online? I'm not arguing with you. I'm just, yeah, there's really no solution to it at this point because Facebook is obviously making gobs and gobs of money from that. I mean, no matter how cool they wanted to be in the beginning and say it's not really going to affect us, it's going to affect small business. They're obviously making gobs and gobs of money off that. So they're looking now at ways to keep their gobs and gobs of money, not to make a better user experience. That said, I remember people telling me years ago that they love the personalized ads. They love not seeing ads for things they don't care about. I'd rather not be tracked. Dow asks if anybody has seen the Facebook ads about how we supposedly need to update internet laws or something. I have not seen those, Dow. Eugene says he would think that Facebook would be smart enough to realize that update internet laws is going to bite them harder than anyone else because of how awful they are. Depends. If they pitch it to small legislatures in Arizona, North Dakota, South Dakota, give it to a lobbyist and hand them a good spin to go with it. And being cynical, sorry. I don't want to go off on a rant here. Hey, everything just jumped. Shh, here he comes. You're a funny man, John McKee. Look busy, says Donna. What did I forget today? John's asking what I forgot today. I don't know what I forgot. Oh, because I always say after the show, I forgot to whatever. Yeah. Nothing as far as I know. We'll see. Roger says his Barnes & Noble had a great expanded record selection prior to hashtag these times in which we live. He didn't use the hashtag, but I'm going to until people do. Have they reduced that since, Roger, or have you not been back? I haven't been back. I haven't been to. Last time I was at a Barnes & Noble was the 13th of March. I remember that because that was the day we went into lockdown, and I was at a coffee shop wondering if it was sensible to be at that coffee shop. Actually wrote a letter to a friend of mine wondering, whether it made sense to be out. And of course, the next day we couldn't go out anymore, so it was fine. I'm gonna be Willy Loman now. I was right. That's actually Dustin Hoffman's Willy Loman in my head. I know it didn't sound like either of them. Cool, Matthew. Matthew says Cabela's has all kinds of neat stuff, and I could also use it at the Bass Pro Shop or their online store. Okay. Still don't know what I really need as far as outdoor stuff, but I'll take a look at their site. Maybe I'll get one of those jerky blasters. I'm not going to get a jerky blaster because I'll just eat jerky all day. Eugene suggests that I do Ken Ray's wandering down the street mumbling live show post pandemic. Here's the thing: I need 1,000 subscribers on YouTube because they won't let you go from mobile. They won't let you just launch from mobile unless it might even be more than 1,000. I know 1,000 is monetization. There's some like really high number that you have to get to before they'll let you just go live from your phone. Which is fine because I don't plan to do that. Although I like the idea. The Fremont Fries had a working Tesla coil. Okay, see, somebody needs to turn that into a restaurant. After. I was gonna say, one Fries in Phoenix. Eugene says one Fries in Phoenix was golf themed. Dullest fries ever. It's like it just looks like Phoenix, doesn't it? I haven't been to Phoenix. I've driven through, I think. Maybe I haven't even driven through, but why would you go inside to have it look like outside? I'd be like, oh, we're doing a desert themed fries up in Santa Fe. Interesting. John says personalized ads. He wants to say, seen it, never going to buy it. Show me something else. But then that takes away the ability of them to keep charging people for showing you the same stuff over and over again, John. I don't think I That's weird. Roger says the fries in Southwest Houston was Houston themed. Nothing but old photos of Houston. That's just somebody who wasn't even trying. Gee whiz. Or trying, for that matter. Roger says he hasn't been in any store, Roger, in almost a year. Yeah. Oh, see, that's awesome. The Fremont Fries was decorated for a World's Fair from the late 1800s. A particular World's Fair? John, do you happen to know? NASA theme. Oh, I saw pictures of the NASA themed one. Sorry, Roger says that there were 3 fries in the area. One was the Houston area, Houston fries. One was oil field themed. Again, a little bit on the nose, it seems to me. And one was NASA, which is also on the nose for Houston, but it's NASA. I saw pictures of it. It looked so incredibly cool. Roger says curbside and direct shipment. Eugene says everyone celebrates the great Fry's store themes, but no one celebrates the one that just didn't give a damn. That's true. That tends to be the way, though, right? Boo. Gary says the Fry's outside of Chicago didn't have a theme. Really? They didn't go for gangsters from the 1920s? Wouldn't that have made sense? And then there's like a vault that you can't get into. And then finally they open it, and it turns out it's just the backside of an abandoned store next door to the Fry's. There was a Geraldo reference in there and a Star Trek reference in there. 1893 Chicago, the first electric city. Interesting. The one in Buffalo was what? Pan American Exposition was also a whole like City of Light or something like that, which I want to say was it was whenever Roosevelt was sworn in there, not Franklin. Teddy Roosevelt was sworn in there after McKinley was shot. He was shot at that World's Fair and died a couple of days later. Anyway, that was also an Electric City one. That's so funny. Sorry, Matthew saying, I also remember that, Matthew, when Wendy's had the old-fashioned newspaper laminated on the dining tables. You could read all the different ads and such, and it went, with the old-fashioned hamburgers thing. I would like to go to the Fry's that was dedicated to Wendy's. I'm not sure who's getting the better part of that deal. All right. I got a motor because I have to turn this into a thing, and then I got to go do some stuff. I'm sorry. I'm going to miss you guys tomorrow. And I am going to miss you guys tomorrow, but we'll do this again Monday. Be well. Have fun. Don't smoke them if you got them because that's bad. Mask up. Wash your hands. Tell your mom I said hey. Talk to you soon.